Welcome to the Show Me the Way podcast. I am your host, Andrea Miller, and I'm so excited to bring this show to you. Show Me the Way is a podcast dedicated to exploring the journeys of those who have faced adversity and found themselves on unexpected paths. We will have meaningful, thoughtful conversations about challenges we have faced and how we discovered and forged new direction. Prepare to be inspired and to uncover your own strength as you listen to relatable and motivating stories. Life has a way of twisting and turning, and we often need a fresh perspective to understand how to navigate. Let's show each other the way. On the Show Me the Way podcast, I want to create space for people to share the moments they've faced life's toughest challenges and the perspective they've gained along the way. This week, my guest is Candace Genevich, a busy working mom of three, wife, sister, and friend whose life changed dramatically 3 years ago. What began as restless legs and a wild eye quickly became the loss of control over the daily functions so many of us take for granted. Overnight, Candace went from independence to needing help with nearly everything. Yet through it all, her gratitude for her husband, children, friends, and family has carried her forward. Candace believes she is still here for a purpose. By sharing her journey, she hopes to encourage others walking through similar challenges and to remind us all of the power of perseverance, perspective, and never giving up. Welcome back to the Show Me the Way podcast. Today, I am honored to welcome Candace Genevich. I have a dear friend that I've been close to for many, many years, and we talk almost daily. Often, Candace's name, she doesn't even know this, is brought up during our discussions. My friend is super close to Candace, and they have known each other for a very long time. Through this connection, I've heard all about Candace and her challenging story. I asked my friend if she thought Candace would be open to an interview, and she said, reach out, see what happens. Candace was receptive, and I know that you'll be touched by her story. I think I met Candace once in person, so I don't know her very well myself. However, did hear all of that she was going through over the past few years. Candace had a major health challenge that took away her ability to do almost everything independently. Once an extremely busy mother of three, keeping up with her family and her household, she now needed help with everyday activities. I'll let her share all the details, but talk about overcoming adversity. Candace continues to work really hard to gain strength back and to find her path and to also be an advocate for herself and others. I know that she will teach us about resilience and mindset, and I'm truly grateful that she decided to join the podcast. So welcome, Candace.
Thank you.
Of course, of course. Hopefully I did that justice, but we'll be looking forward to hearing from you. But before we dive in, I do like to give my guests a chance to say a little bit more about themselves that I didn't share. So if you'd like to tell the listeners a little more about you.
Hi, my name is Candace Genevich. I'm 43. I'm a wife, a mother, and I have three boys. I have a range of ages, which it's like cool when they were growing up. I didn't want two in diapers, which now it's like, ugh. I have a 20-year-old, almost 21. He goes to U of M. He's a cheerleader. Then I have a 15-year-old, almost 16-year-old. He's going to be a junior in high school. And then I have a 10-year-old, and he obviously is still in elementary school. So it's like a wide range of things going. I was like, I used to be the young mom, and then I was like the mom that was right there with everyone, and now I'm like the old mom.
Yeah, huge
But
range.
yeah, and I've been, how long have I been married? Almost 17 years, I think. 18? Isn't that bad? I
Wow.
don't even remember. I'm awful.
Well,
Usually the women remember, but I don't. My husband's the one who was like, nope, he'll tell me the date, and I'm like, oh, okay.
and you live in Michigan.
I live in Michigan, born and raised in Michigan. I went to college in Pittsburgh. I moved to Columbus for a while, and then now I'm back in Michigan. All my family's here, so.
Okay, now I have to ask, your son goes to U of M. Are you guys U of M fans, or
Oh, yeah.
did you become that
Oh,
after he became
gosh.
a cheerleader?
No. So we were scared for a little bit. We thought he was going to go to University of Kentucky because that's a big cheer school. And then literally, I want to say the last minute, he changed his mind. I want to go to U of M. We're like, what? So he actually goes to the U of M Dearborn next to us. And then it worked out because you can still do U of M sports. He does the cheer, but then he goes to school through U of M Dearborn. So it worked out. So I think it was meant to work that way. And he actually just moved back here home. moved everything in. So he's been living in Ann Arbor for 3 years. So now he'll start his senior year in August. He'll be 21 in August. Cooper will be 16 in August. And Tommy just turned 10. So three major birthdays this year. So my husband his birthday is today. He's
That's what I was
45.
gonna
I'll
ask.
say
I
his
thought I
age.
saw that. I saw that on Facebook. Well, by the way, you're
Yeah.
both younger than me, so
Yeah.
well,
So,
that's great. Yeah,
yeah.
busy mom for sure and active
Yeah.
boys. We were just talking before we got on here. I met her at my friend's house and she brought me a boy mom shirt because I've got two boys. So we're all about the boy moms over here,
Oh,
but
yeah.
we're also all about U of M over here. So I love that.
Thank
And
God.
now that I follow you, I am going to look for that cheerleader because we are obsessed with the football team. So I'll be looking for him.
The year they won,
Yes.
Noah went to the Rose Bowl.
Oh,
And
it's
then
so
he went to the national championship. So he was right there on the field when they won, did all that stuff. When they get up that high, they have to try out to go again. So it was crazy. But
wow, that's
yeah,
so
so
cool.
during football season, I usually do post a lot about U of M and what he has
Okay.
going on. He's kind of sad this is his last year. I think he's trying to push to where he can do one more year. But my husband and I were like, we give you 4 years, kid.
Right.
4 years. You want to stay? That's all on you. So,
No, that's great. I
yeah.
understand my older son. So I have one that's 19 and I have one that's going to be 16 in September. So close to your two older boys.
Yeah.
And he plays soccer at Adrian, which listeners, if you're not from Michigan, it's a small school about an hour away from where I live. And I'm like, oh gosh, we only have 3 years left.
Oh,
So I know what you mean.
yes. Yep.
Well, that's great. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Yep.
Well, like I tell the listeners, and like I was telling you, Candace, before we popped on here, the Show Me the Way podcast, really, I started it as a way to allow people to share different challenges or times where they faced adversity and the things that
Mhm.
they've learned from that. I started because my younger son, the one that I said is going to be 16 as well, he has Duchenne muscular dystrophy. So
Okay. Mhm.
when he was 5 years old, he was diagnosed and he is 15 now, but when he was, I want to say around 10, 11, really started using a scooter. And then soon after that, a full blown wheelchair. So he currently does not walk. He's always in the wheelchair. And you know this. I mean, he has taught me so much. Like I'm sure you're going to share with us perspective you gain when things don't look like you thought they were going to look. So I thought, let's start a podcast. I like to talk. You can tell that probably already. And I just wanted to share his story. And as soon as I start talking about his story, people will say, wow, I know someone with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, or I've been through this, I've been through that. Sometimes it's medical. Sometimes it's I had to switch jobs. Sometimes it's I had to move to another state. All kinds of different things that have come up. But as people are going through life and their path looks different, I love hearing what they did with that, the the type of advice they want to give to listeners. I have a few more to get through the year, and I thought Candace would be such a great guest. Like I said, our mutual friend has just always shared so much about your story. You've definitely been in my prayers and my thoughts over the last few years. And I just knew if we're talking about adversity, if we're talking about you've got this path with your three boys and life's going, and then a major change kind of really alters what you had in mind. So I just thought you would be an ideal guest. I'm grateful that you're open to sharing your story. And with that, like I said, no scripts. You can just start and we'll just talk through it.
Okay. I guess start how it was. I mean, before all this happened, I ran my own daycare. I had quite a few kids. Funny thing is, when I was pregnant with Tommy, we had a hard time. Like, Noah was going to be 10, and then Cooper was 5. So we're like, how are we going to have a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old share a room? Because we have a 3-bedroom ranch. And then I was like, how do we have a newborn share a room with a 5-year-old, almost 6-year-old? We can't do that to them. So we decided to redo our basement. We put a bedroom down there. But then once we redid it, I was like, how do I put our bedroom down there and be away from a newborn? So our oldest decided, I want the bedroom down there. And it just so happened, I think Tommy was 3 weeks old. And then I started daycare because I stopped working again. And our neighbor needed a sitter, and it kind of just grew. I loved it. It was amazing. So one day, October 3rd, 4th, I had little stuff happen throughout a couple months, maybe in the past year before this happened, just to me. And I'm like, man, what's wrong? This isn't right. This isn't right. I would have a tingle in my legs or a tingle in my arms, and then just weird, not falling asleep. You know, how you lay in your arm too much and you're falling asleep. It it wasn't like that. I would just be sitting and all of a sudden my arm would tingle and I'm like, "What is that?" And of course, mothers, we ignore it. We ignore it. And then we're huge on Halloween, huge. And we decorate our house like crazy on the outside. And we were out decorating one day and I was telling my husband, I'm struggling with my arm to the point where I was having a hard time helping putting up decorations. And he told me, just go inside, go inside. So the next day I woke up, and so October 5th, I think it was.
And this
And
was what, how many years ago?
sorry, 22. So 2.5 years, almost three. I woke up. Usually I get up around 5:45. I had my first kid at like 6:30 in the morning. I get up and I'm like so exhausted to the point where I know if I laid back down, I would have went right back to sleep, no problem. And I always get up and I was like, well, I'm gonna take a shower and make me feel better. Nope. I was dead. So that day I had my sister would help. I every day I had certain helpers. And as soon as she got there, I'm like, Brandy, I don't know what's wrong. I'm really tired. Like almost like a fog. I would always have days like that where I just felt like I was in a fog where I could see things going on, but I just wasn't present in that. So we had movie day all day. I would put all the kids on a blanket. We'd watch movies, let them have popcorn, stuff like that, just trying to get through the day. And then later on that day, my husband usually would leave by 8:30 every day, and we wouldn't see him until maybe 7 at night, 8 o'clock sometimes. And last kid left, and I called him, and he's like, "Oh, funny, I'm actually on my way home." And it was like 5:30. Shocked. I was like, "What? You're on your way home?" I was like, "I'm having a hard day. I'm really tired." I was like, "If I sit on the couch and put my head back, I'm gonna fall asleep." And he goes, "Well, go ahead. I'll take the boys to dinner." I was like, "Okay." Noah wasn't there. He left for cheer already. We did a carpool. And so it was just Cooper and Tommy. And so by the time he got here, he just took Cooper because Tommy fell asleep on the couch. So I went and lay down in my room, fine, out, falling asleep. I woke up around 7:30 and Tom and Cooper came back in, and my husband, he's like, "Oh, just go back to sleep. Just lay down. We're good." So I laid back down and it's around 8 and my legs were really restless. Not, you know how you fidget with them? They're restless. Mine were like banging against my mattress. It was almost like they were moving on their own. I'm like, what is going on? So, of course, I lay there. Mothers were like, ah, whatever. It's fine. It'll go away, right? No. Around, I think it was around almost midnight, finally, I was like, Tom, I have to go somewhere. I don't know what this is. They won't stop. So I went to the hospital. They gave me a muscle relaxer and Toradol, and they sent me home. When I got home, everybody was in bed because I got home at 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning. So I was like, oh, I'll just lay in the couch, get my sleep because I had another day ahead of me. 5:45, I'm getting up. Kids are coming. And as soon as I tried to sit on the couch, my right eye went crazy, almost like a kaleidoscope. I could not see. I was covering it up. I couldn't walk. I crawled to our bedroom to get Tom and told him there's something wrong. I have to go back. I was like, there's something wrong. And he goes, what? What's going on? I was like, I can't see out of my right eye. If I open it, it's going crazy. Everything is like a kaleidoscope. So we called my sister right away and she came over to stay with our kids. So we went back. Gotta love COVID at this time still. It's 2022 and the hospital was awful. I just remember, so I'm laying in that bed, my eyes closed most of the time. I was trying to go to sleep because, again, as soon as I tried to open my eyes, it was crazy. I couldn't. And the way we were on the corner of two hallways, and the bathroom was right there. And the first time, my legs were still, they were sore at this time because the muscle relaxer, whatever they gave me, it did help. And so I remember I was like, I have to go to the bathroom. I was really weak, and I did because it was right there. I was able to go to the bathroom. And then the second time I had to go again, I was really weak to the point where Tom helped me. He was holding my hand to go to the bathroom. And then I had to go again. The third time, I couldn't go. I couldn't walk. I literally was losing control of my body. And I don't remember the testing I had done, but I know throughout being there, and it'll always stay with me, and I'm going to get emotional about it, is just losing control of my body. I slowly felt my body wasn't my body. Like I had no control of anything. Especially my legs. It was gone. I could still move my arms and everything. Finally, they're like, "Well, we're going to put you guys in a short stay." But I was out of it. Again, I felt like I was in a fog. And I remember before all this, Tom and I were supposed to go away that weekend to Nashville for a wedding. And we kept talking about it. And I was like, "Oh, it's okay. We'll push it back a day. We can still leave Thursday instead of Wednesday." And I remember talking about that because we were really upset. I was like, "No, we're going to Nashville." And once they put me in the short stay, the nurse was, "Okay, honey, you have to get up and walk to the bed." And I was like, "I can't walk. I can't walk." And my husband was so upset. He's like, "She can't walk." And I think I remember like I was almost falling down and then they realized, "Oh, she can't walk." It was awful. And
Could you
then
still speak? Like, you could still
I
talk.
was speaking. Yeah. So finally it was hours and then I remember um I had to go again. So they had to cath me because again, I couldn't walk. So they cath me and it was so much came out of me. And again, nobody understood what was going on with me. Nobody. I spent 3 weeks there and they still did not understand what was going on. I didn't know. I had no control of my bowels, nothing. My husband fought and fought and fought for me, like trying to figure out what was going on. He would get there so early in the morning to make sure because it was constant. "Oh, she's going to have a spinal tap." And then days later, "Oh no, she's going to have it today." And then, "Oh no, she's going to have it today." It's like bits and pieces I remember. And I remember they're finally taking me down there and they didn't give me any medicine to go have a spinal tap. That's how crazy it was. And finally, after 3 weeks, I was supposed to be moved to a rehab place. So I needed extensive rehab because I wasn't walking. I had no control of my legs. I had no control of my bladder. I had no control of my bowels. I had an IV hooked up to me, and they're like, for her to be moved, she has to be off the IV for 2 days. And they finally diagnosed me with MS. That was there, and I knew that wasn't what it was. I know what MS is, and I just felt it. That wasn't it. But I'm like, whatever, if that's what you're doing to release me. And we wanted to go to Chelsea Hospital, part of U of M. Their rehab program is amazing. But I was waiting. They had to wait 2 days to get the IV off me. But slowly, I want to say the last week I was there, it would start literally down middle of my forehead to my left side. I would start with a extreme pain all of a sudden, and then it would creep down the left side of my face. And then I lost all control of my voice. I couldn't speak at all. My brain was fine. I knew what was going on. I knew what I wanted to say. I can look and see what's going on around me, but I lost all control of that. I couldn't speak to let people know what was going on. So they called like code blue, code whatever. I didn't know. And of course, what do they do right away? They shove whatever in my IV. And trying to tell someone that I'm to lose control of that, and they had no idea what was going on, and not being able to express yourself was really hard. And the first one, my oldest son was there, I do remember, and thank God my sister and him walked out of the room and I started having one. So he wasn't in there, but they were trying to come back in, and thank God they didn't let him come back in. And then for some reason, we figured out that Tylenol always made it better, and I would slowly come out of it. Tylenol, just Tylenol. And finally, I got the IV out and I was able to switch to go to Chelsea Hospital, which they were amazing. I just felt so comfortable there. And I felt like they were trying to see what was going on with me. So I knew the disease that I do have, which is CADASIL, ran in my family. But again, it's so rare, extremely rare, that it's genetic. And still, what I was going through did not match exactly what my family members have gone through with it. So in my mind, I'm like, is this it? Is that what I have? But we couldn't do, when you're in the hospital, I guess you can't have genetic testing done. You have to do it on your own, to my understanding. So before I left the hospital, my sister-in-law is a phlebotomist. How do you say that?
Phlebotomist?
Yes.
Phlebotomist? Yep.
So she
Mhm.
actually snuck in needles to take my blood while I was in there, and she ran the test herself. So that's how I found out I had CADASIL. And still, they had the diagnosis of MS, but I know that's not what I have. That's so I wiped that. I'm like, nope, not what I have.
When you were talking about the episodes where you were having the headaches and the pain down your left
Mhm.
side, when you said, "When I would get them," were those strokes?
No, nope.
No, okay.
So I went to Chelsea Hospital. They helped me start walking again. I went through speech therapy. I went through occupational therapy. I went through physical therapy, and I still was having that pain. I would
Okay.
have one every 2 days. Well, I was there for an additional 2 weeks to help me, and it was extensive. Every day I would see all three of those therapists, if not twice a day, once a day, every day. And I'm I've always been like, okay, let's go. I'm going to do this. I have to do this because when I was there, I couldn't see my children. That was so hard. Really, really hard.
Was your husband still working? I mean, that's a
Yes. Oh
lot
my God.
too.
He still works there. Which was rough because here I am in Chelsea. We live in Allen Park, and I'm going to say it's like an hour away. He works in Toledo. His work is amazing. I love them. They would send me flowers all the time, notes, and whatever he needed to do, they would do. Like, Tom, stay home, do this, because here he is trying to take care of me. Why we have kids at home. And in the meantime, when all this was going on, it was Noah's first year living in U of M too. So he's trying to do all of that. And
Wow.
incredible family helping doing all that. And yeah, it was rough. They were the ones that helped get me on. It's called Triliptol. I'm still on it to this day. I take a lot of it. I take it every morning and night, and I don't have those pains anymore.
Okay.
And they
Okay.
test for, are they seizures? No, they were not, because their main thing was, are they TIAs, which are mini strokes? No. But again, because CADASIL is so rare, it's a brain disease. It affects your small blood vessels. So obviously it has to tie into that. They don't call them migraines. I don't know, because that's a major issue with CADASIL. That's what my aunt has struggled with, migraines severely bad. So again, it's just still trying to figure out what this disease is. And then I came home November around November 13th, I think, finally. Um, and the one thing, no matter what you're going through, medical, health, whatever, you need your children. That was the hardest thing for me. Thank God I was able to at least see my husband. I had that, and he was so strong to hold all this together, so strong. But he knew he needed to be for me, for the kids. So I came home and I was doing, at the time, physical therapy in my home. So a lady had to come here. I was walking, and I was to the point where I finally started doing physical therapy at a place, and I was walking with a cane. That's how much better I was. My eye was better. I didn't have to wear a patch anymore. The only struggle I had was like my leg, but I had everything else. I was good. I was like, whatever. I got to struggle with this leg. It's not, and which was my left leg. I fought to get that back. I've always been that person. Throw it at me, I'm going to keep going. That's just me. And it was good. They still never said it was a stroke, but that's what it was. Again, I'm not at U of M yet. I did go to Chelsea rehab, which was great, but finally, my neurologist at the time was great. And that's when they were showing me my MRI and all the little spots on my brain. And I remember being in that room. It was me and Tom. And that's when they officially told me that it is CADASIL. And I broke down because I've lost cousins to me, but I called them my uncles because they're pretty much the same age as my mother. And to watch them struggle with this disease, that's what was in my mind. That's the road I'm going down. It's still right now, they say there's two types of CADASIL, but it hasn't been confirmed. And I can totally see that, like the way I struggled. And then I see how my aunt has it, my mother has it, my sister just found out she has it. And it's just, like I said, everybody's so different how it affects them.
That's
Again,
how it is. That's how
yeah,
it is with my son. He has Duchenne muscular dystrophy. I mean, it's common. It's a common muscular dystrophy. They call it a
yeah,
rare disease, but it's still much more common than what you're dealing with. And there's people that are exactly the same age, have exactly the same type, and even they are completely different.
yeah. So it's just so frustrating because what am I going through? It's very hard to go through a disease, but then when you don't have anyone to talk about it or to understand it, that's where I struggle. Do they believe me? To the point sometimes where days when I do struggle, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to complain. I don't think I'm a complainer. So I'll just hold it in and deal with it because it's like, whatever. It's fine. Move on. I'm good. I'm walking with a cane. I still would have daily struggles. Well, obviously, I'm changed now. My daycare fully was closed down. Not saying I wasn't going to open it back up, but at the time, it's like I still need to recover. I still need to figure out what's going on, especially with my kids. My husband, just as a family of five, getting our lives back together. Just
Hmm.
trying to, as a mother, that's what you do. Like that was my main focus to like our new normal. Trying to get that all taken care of. Around Christmas, I remember one night, the night before Christmas Eve, my husband was away on a work trip, which he didn't want to go. And I was like, you got to work. I'm not working. You go. My sister was staying here. Like plenty of people were here. And I was laying in my bed and Tommy was laying next to me. My sister was on our couch. And I remember I woke up and my whole body was shaking, shaking like crazy. And I'm like, what is going on? So bad to the point where I was biting down on a towel because I thought my teeth were going to crack. And my sister comes in. She's the one that gave me the towel. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. And she grabbed heating pads to put on me because she thought it was so cold. And I even had a weighted blanket and that was on me, my quilt, but I couldn't stop shaking. So my sister literally laid on top of me to give me body heat just to try to stop it. She was getting ready to call 911. I was like, no, no. I was like, I'm not going to the hospital. What I went through I always still call it Oakwood, Maine, which it's Corwell by my house. And I will never go there again. What I went through there, it was rough. And I was like, I'm not going, Brandy, because I knew that's the one that's closest to me. If anything, that's the one they're going to take me to. I was like, I'm still here. I'm in mind. I was like, my body just won't stop shaking. It was crazy. And then finally, I want to say after 20 minutes, it was slowing down. And I woke up Christmas Eve, and it was my side of the family that was coming over. And I was able, but I felt really weak. So I was able to make it from my bed to the couch, and I stayed there all day. I was like, I really can't move. I don't know what's going on. And in my mind, I thought it was like results of Candace. So my aunt and everybody was over here, and they were making dinner, and I stayed in the same spot all day long. So in the middle of the night, I laid on the couch. I did not move. And meanwhile, in this time, I had my commode next to me. So if I had to go to the bathroom, because I got that back, I got all that back. Still, I was just struggling. And while I was home, instead of walking with the cane, I walked with my walker. I had to get up to go to the bathroom. And as soon as I tried to put my feet and stand up, I collapsed. It was gone. It was all gone again. And I sat there and I was crying because I'm like, it's happening again. I was like, it's happening again. I had nothing, to the point I didn't even have my back. I felt like I was gone. Like I had no core. I had nothing. And I was just crying. And Brandy's like, "What do you want me to do?" And my oldest son was home from school staying with us for Christmas. So she went down and got him, and he helped me get back on the couch because I couldn't. I had no muscle tone. I had nothing. And then the next day, obviously, was Christmas. I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I want my kids to open their presents. Even if it is a stroke or whatever, I was like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do for me? I'm waiting. So the next day, which now my husband's home, and he was the same way. I was like, I'm not going anywhere until I want to watch my kids open their gifts. So they opened their stuff, and he took me, and I was like, we're going to U of M. So U of M is like a little over 30 minutes away from us. It's time for me to switch. Once we get there, we're good. Right away, they take me right in, and they were great. So understanding, tell them the history. They admit me. I don't remember how long, but I was in an MRI for a very long time. I started having those things again. And again, they didn't know what they were, struggling with them. And one I had was different this time. I broke out in a rash. They thought it was because they were giving me steroids, because sometimes those help with a stroke. I don't know. And I remember blacking out during it. It was making me extremely weak, but they upped my triliptol and I stopped having them. I still don't know what they are. They think maybe it's a form of a migraine. I remember the doctor finally came in and he wasn't happy because obviously what I was going through, but he was shocked at what I had, but he found out I had a stroke on my spine, which is rare in itself. And even, I don't know how many times jokingly they called me an anomaly, rare, enigma, because just trying to figure out what was going on with me. I couldn't move. I lost I had nothing. I had no legs. I couldn't sit up. I did have my arms, but now obviously my legs were affected from the first one, but my left leg it's still gone. I drag it. I call my walker my legs because they are my legs. I can't let go. I still struggle with my core. I can't just stand without, I need something to lean on. Again, I went through tons of more testing, tons of physical therapy there. I was there for 6 weeks. I still go through a lot. It has changed my life because I went from I was fine to now I have Candace, but I also am dealing with the effects it's had on me. I I got myself back in physical therapy. I go to the gym. But no matter what, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, and that's my main focus. I don't sweat the small stuff. I don't really care about that at all. I just keep going, move on. I fight every day, every day. I try not to have bad days, but I do have bad days. So I don't feel temperature. I could probably stick a hot pan on my legs. I don't feel it. It would burn me, but I don't feel that burn. I don't feel cold. I don't feel hot. I swelling sometimes in my leg, so I will put an ice pack on it. I don't feel that cold. I still need to talk to my doctor more to ask, like, what does that mean? What is that? My right leg, I can move more. I can wiggle my feet. I can move my foot up and down. I drive because my right leg's okay, but it still is tingly. That doesn't go away. It's constant. That's how it feels, which I'm getting used to that feeling. It is what it is. When I try to walk with my left leg, my knee doesn't bend. I wear a brace. I have drop foot. I can't move it up and down, but sometimes I can if I'm laying a certain way. My arms are okay. So they call it incontinence. So I cath every day. I can't physically go on my own. Same with my bowels. I have to make myself go. Like, I can have an accident, not with the caffeine. That is fine. I take care of that on my own. But there's days like they call it a bowel program, to which you would think I would have it under control, which it's not under control. I feel like my commode is my best friend.
That's gotta be so difficult. It's very, very different than what my son deals with, but that's one of the main things I think he has the biggest frustration with is losing control, not having control of things that other people his age have control of.
I'm really big on I love PT, and I swear if people talk about it and they're like, "Oh, PT," I get so mad. I'm like, "Go. You have no
No.
idea what they can do for you." I always say, what I know now, if I would have known when I was younger going to school, I totally would have went that way. They're amazing.
Into physical
Oh,
therapy.
totally.
Yeah.
And I never realized how many nerves or muscles you have in your body, your tiny body. It's amazing because so many are hurt or damaged. And for the longest time I've called my left leg my dumb leg, and I was like, I got to stop that. I can't call it that. It's getting mad at me. But I go to the gym because it's almost like I want to see how I can push my body, what I can build up, what I have control over, because that was taken away from me without me giving consent. That drives me nuts to know. For instance, my friend goes with me, and you can just lift your leg. You lift your leg, right? No problem. And I can't do that. Like they always say, you put your brain to, yeah, sure. Do it all the time. I was like, it's dead.
Easier said than done.
Thank you. But you never realize that until you've been through something. So, and still to this day, like, yes, I go to PT. Yes, I have so many doctor's appointments, but I go, I push, I'll do whatever I got to do. I don't miss them. And again, they're still call me an anomaly because they're still trying to help me through all that different stuff. My legs swelling, is it because I had a stroke on my spine? The best way to explain what it did is like, obviously they hate that I say I had a stroke on my spine. Not hate, doctors don't say the word hate, but they all the time they were like, Candace, no, you had a spinal cord injury. You have to remember that.
Well, and you know your body better
Yeah.
than anyone else. Yeah, they're educated. They are trying their best to figure it out, but they're not going through it. So
Yeah.
you have to explain it in a way that makes the most sense to what you actually witnessed, what you actually felt.
Yeah. So the best way to explain, it's like I had it and it exploded at certain points in my body. So my left leg, like I would say partial paralysis, they call me, because I can walk with my walker, but I use my arms so bad. Like I all the time always joking like I have the best arms ever because I can't walk without it. I have no control. I feel like I'm a weeble wobble of my core. I say it's like almost like an X. Like it goes from my left toes all the way and it splits to my belly up, because on my right side of my body, I don't feel that. Again, you can put cold on there and I don't feel it. But on my left side, I feel it. It's just like it exploded. That's the best way to explain it, to call like partial paralysis. For instance, I had kidney stones. I've had them before. I'd rather have a baby again than to have kidney stones, and I didn't feel them. Had no idea.
Yeah, and since it's so rare and since it's so different, most people don't have any clue. I remember when
Yeah,
our mutual friend would tell me about it, I'm like, I can't even fathom. I don't
yeah,
understand. And
yeah,
and so it's very hard to explain it to people. So I guess the best thing is for people to try to not understand and to just
yeah,
support you however you need and trust whatever you say is going on.
yeah. And the hard thing is you don't want to talk about it.
Well, I think it's really admirable that, again, like I said, and I saw one of your Facebook posts. You said, "Okay, I'm starting to feel more comfortable speaking on it," and so
Yeah,
I think that's so admirable, and that you are open to being on here because, like I said, talk about adversity. I mean, most people can't even fathom all that you have been through, and to try to continue to work up as much strength as you can
yeah,
to get you're on this new path, this new
yeah,
normal, but to get as much strength back as you can so you can continue
Our
to
new
enjoy.
normal.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you wanna continue to enjoy what your boys are doing and
Yeah.
being a present mom and wife, and, that's wow. I'm sure people tell you all the time, "You're so strong." But it's amazing. It's amazing.
The biggest thing people are like, "Well, how do you do it?" Well, what am I gonna do? Thank you. I appreciate that. I always say wherever my boys are is where I'll be.
Oh, I
That's
love that, and that gives you
yeah.
strength too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I always say that to people. You do what you have to do. I mean, you're faced with this challenge and this adversity and this new normal, and it's like, what are you supposed to do? You want to continue to live life, and
yeah.
you got to show your boys that they can do it too.
Yeah. And that's
So
why I finally am like, I have to get this out there. I have to. And it's great because I've already gotten so many response from
just
people that are disabled or paralyzed. And I love it because I don't love it because obviously what they went through, but to
right.
understand what I'm
Yeah,
going through. And it's
you're
nice
not
to
alone. You're not alone.
thank you. Because there's days where I'm like, people see me walk with my walker, but people see me in my wheelchair too and don't understand the difference because I use my walker at home, but when I'm out, I have to use my wheelchair because I can't walk that far. And like I said, it's my arms. It's like my arms are taking me with my walker, not my legs. I shouldn't have to defend myself.
You shouldn't. You
And
shouldn't.
I, yeah,
I'm glad you have that mindset
yeah,
and just, keep going forward remembering that because you shouldn't have to. Well, I promised you that I wouldn't take up too much of your time. I could listen to you talk and continue to try to understand for so much longer, but I want to make sure that I respect your time. But just all that you've been through, I know you said a couple of things you wish you knew then that you know now, but
yeah.
if there's something that you feel like you would leave with our listeners based on everything you've been through, what would be a nugget you would leave with them?
Oh gosh. One of my biggest hashtag is can't stop, won't stop. That's my main thing is like you have to find your new normal. You have to keep going. I still struggle with this right now is why am I still here? I feel like people don't make it through one stroke. When here I am, I've made it through two and I was joking. I was like I still have my brain. I still have that. And thank goodness, thank God. And I know I'm here for a purpose. Obviously, because I'm a mother and I'm a wife, but there's something else. And that's what I'm trying to find that other thing that's I'm supposed to do. And this is one of my main, it was like almost like a light clicked on. Like I have to get this out. I need for more people to understand Catasil. I need to get that word out. I need people also that have had, there's not that many that have had a spinal cord injury, stroke to understand there's people out there that you can talk to about it. There's always something. Social media, I suck at it. Just learning it. It's like the best thing for right now because that's how you reach those people because how else will you reach them? So that's my biggest thing. Can't stop, won't stop. Just don't stop. Keep going. Find your reason.
I think that is awesome. And yeah, that's funny because I was just kind of scrolling through your Facebook to make sure I was on the right track. And I saw that hashtag and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Well, I just am so very grateful that I've had you on here and just hearing that story. Like I said, I heard a lot of it from our mutual friend, and I'm grateful she shared with me. But just to hear it from your perspective and to just witness somebody go through something like that and come out on the other side and just continue to move forward, can't stop, won't stop. I love that so much, and
Yeah.
I think your story needs to be put out there. And I'm very honored that our listeners will be able to hear. And it'll be a message for all of them if they've been through something similar, if they go through something similar, or even if they have nothing to relate to, they can still understand how important it is when you're faced with any kind of adversity, any kind of challenge. Just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
all you
think
can do. Find your
that's
purpose.
awesome. Yes. Yes. Well, thank you so much for being a guest and for sharing your story. I like to keep these under an hour because I think that is the best amount of time for listeners to listen. At least that's what I've found. I appreciate you sharing all of that. I really wanted to hear every single step and I know it's hard to go back, but thank you for sharing, being a guest and showing us all the way.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me for the Show Me the Way podcast. I truly appreciate you tuning in to today's episode about overcoming adversity and finding your path. I hope it brought you new insights, empowered you with perspective, and inspired you to find joy in your journey. If this episode touched your heart, don't forget to leave a quick review as it will help us reach and motivate more people. Until next time, keep seeking the light and showing the way.